Okay, good morning everybody. Alright, the last video, I welded that thing up, made that bracket, and just basically went over this thing. Unbeknownst to me, they when this grapple was torn off, it must have yanked something at the base of this cylinder down here. It's leaking like a sieve. I think it actually broke the weld on the bottom there. So we're gonna pop this cylinder off here and see if there's something we can do to fix it. You might as well try, right? Alright, so I got this thing cleaned up a little bit, and it looks like this whole thing here, when that grapple was pulled hard to this side, it separated right in here, pulled all this apart. It comes all the way across here and here. Let me wire wheel this thing, and I'm gonna maybe that'll come to light then. Okay, so I wire wheeled it, and yes, one thing that's confirming is, see how tight that side is there, and how far off that side is there, and you can see the crack there. And it's even, I can see oil coming out of here. I was thinking, if I were to cut this off here and here, take this whole thing off, and then grind this whole plate out, re-weld it, and then put that on. It's a long shot, but it might work. Okay, well, that literally took me a minute with the cutoff wheel. Just cut through those welds, and look at that. There's some type of centering dowel here. Put that right on there and do whatever you need to do. That's pretty neat. And yeah, just comes. If I have to put that on the lathe, that'll be a good center. So this is a thing I'm going to try and grind out, not so this whole thing comes off, just that I can get a good bead of weld all the way around there. Okay, so it's going in the right direction. I think I'm going to pull the rod out, and yes, I am using my spanner wrench. It's like the third or fourth time in just a couple of months. I have a video on making this thing. This is a really small cylinder, so it works. See? Just a couple of nut or bolts welded on there, and you can cut them off, re-weld any type of bolts on there you want. So this whole end is made to be welded and re-welded as needed. Opened up to about 6 inches or so. So if I had a bigger hole on the end of the cylinder there, I'd just weld on a bigger bolt or drill bit or some other piece of hardened steel. Okay. Did I just hit you? Come on. Yep. Okay then. Be nice to rebuild this while I'm in here, but not going to. Okay, let me get a plan for the next step and I'll bring you back. Okay. So, believe it or not, but this guy with that center hole in there set right up. So I'm going to try and cut out the weld here. Not a lot of it, just till I get down to good stuff, and then I'm going to run that bead of weld there. Very tight in here, as a matter of fact, but I will get you going. Okay, let's give this thing a whirl. Yep, my thing's moving. Alright, well, got some other tooling. Not ideal, but I'm going to try it. Alright, so a lot of wiggling and wrangling. But you see that right there? See that? I think I'm down to where I want to be. There's a little bit more right there. I think if I go down too much more, that whole end cap's going to pop off. I don't know though. That could actually just be the crack. Either way, that shoulder right there, I got pretty much room to grind that or weld that in. So I'll bring you back. Okay, just to bring you up to speed, you might notice this shoulder is a little bit better defined than it was last time I showed you. There's some crackage. But what I did while this thing was spinning, come on, in the lathe, I laid down some rags on the lathe ways and I took the grinder and I grinded this out. Seemed to work pretty good. So I am going to set you up and weld this. not very level because I overlapped in there, but that'll even out. I thought I got good penetration. Alright, let me finish it up and I'll bring you back. Okay, still really hot, but this is what I got here. See this expanded area right here? I don't want dare touch that. It looked like I found another crack there on the rod side of the previous weld that I had not seen before. So I ground that out and covered that in. Come on. I might just flap disc some of this just to keep any hose, come on, from rub and roll on it, because there are hoses right on the bottom. And I also have to weld in the bottom piece there. Alright, I'll bring you back. Okay. Well, I did flap disc this area in here. I had to clean the top off. I cleaned the weld off of this pipe there. I did, I guess, get a little bit carried away with the flap disc, but at least I'll be able to tell where the leaks are, if there are any. I tried to get down. There's one of the few little divots I have there. But now I've got that centering pin in there. And what I did, I took my $30 protractor here. Alright, that was reading 0. The darn thing is pretty accurate. Okay, there you go. And then I bring it up to here, and with my thing there, I brought it, I was reading 90. It's very, very close. Okay. Because I want this to be 90 with this. Okay, here's my root pass. I try to take time when I'm deep in a round area to get the wire as deep in there as I possibly can, because you'll never have a chance to get that again. Now I'm going to build that up. There's a profile of it. I'm going to build that up similar to the way it was, and go from there. You can see how hot I'm running. I actually just burned into that, so I'll bring you back. Okay, welding done. Went pretty good, I think. That painter's tape withstood 10,000 degrees, so that's pretty good. Just kidding. All right, well, I'm going to let this thing cool down, maybe overnight, and I will bring you back. You know, one of the things I did was I just put this tab on here as a ground tab, because I didn't want to stick the clamp in here, still hot, and create a piece of splatter or a ground arc there. So I'll just break this thing off. But that should do it. Get some black paint on here quick, or Andrew Camarada is going to run over here and paint it for me. That's a joke. Cleaned all this out, washed it out, rinsed it out with diesel fuel, put some lube on this, and here we go. we'll screw this back. But you know, the other thing, I spent hours out here doing this, working on the lathe over there, welder, and it might not work. And this cylinder is probably a throwaway cylinder, a couple $100 at Tractor Supply. But you know what? The next time this needs to be done, I will be better suited to do that next time. I could get this back on the tractor out there and it just blow apart. I don't know, but I will have learned what to do and what not to do, what worked and what didn't work. So that has value in and of itself. So don't sell that short. All right, I'm going to get the spanner and tighten this up a little bit, and then we'll go from there. Okay, moment of truth here. Put the cylinder back on, put the hoses back on. That's right. Forgot to hook up the hoses. Aren't going to be easy. Okay, so here's the moment of truth. Let's see if we can, if this thing holds oil. Okay, it appears to be working. All right. Well, I'm going to call it a night out here. Thank you for riding along on this adventure. Bye-bye.